What's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Martin, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about the input market. This is going to be fertilizers and pesticides. I'm channeling my inner standard grain of Joe and Mackenzie. Everyone go hop over there. I'll put a link to their channel down below. Show them some love. Tell them that you learned about them from over here at the Grass Factor. It's my daily morning routine and has been for multiple years, and absolutely love them and what they do. So I thought I would, show them a little bit of love and do something related to something that more of my audience would be interested in, and that would be fertilizer and pesticides. So in the headlines this week, we will take a look at what's been going on here. Number one is the U.S. tariffs. I think everybody's overhearing about the tariffs, but the reality is that tariffs are actually going to influence us over on the green industry. And the recent import tariffs imposed by President Trump last week have created a price movement in phosphate markets. The period of MAP and DAP prices trading near parity will be short-lived because the newly imposed tariffs could amplify MAP supply issues. We have logistical constraints in Asia. The Association of Malaysian Haulers has set operational weight limits on haulers operating at the Port Klang effective on May 1st, which could raise logistical costs globally for fertilizer importers. Regulatory action from the EPA. The EPA has announced a quarantine exemption request from Idaho to use potassium chloride to control invasive mussels, bypassing the public comment period. The European pesticide regulation has banned the use of caffeine as an active ingredient in pesticides, citing significant health risk. A new sustainable crop protection player has arisen, KCB AgriScience, out of, it looks like they are going pretty hard in the paint to focus on sustainable crop protection, but market presence across Romania, Bulgaria, and other key regions in Southern Europe. Related to the fertilizer market, number one, urea prices remain somewhat stable this week, but we are up about 30% over the last couple of weeks, even though, this week it wasn't too entirely exciting out of NOLA. We have huge tight supply issues on urea ammonium nitrate. Shout out to Mr. Linville over at StoneX, who's been highlighting this because of we have issues with the Mississippi River. We have freezing that is still occurring in areas of production. We have probably some mistimed production that has taken place. But as a result, UAN is incredibly tight. And when that happens, a lot of times that shifts pressure over to urea. This is also the time of the year where we have a lot of urea exports, namely India just secured an 850,000 ton tender, and while it was forecasted to be somewhere around 1.5 million, with the increased pressure on urea because of the tightness in the market for UAN, it's not foreboding well for what nitrogen is going to look like over the short term. However, in the long term, we might still remain relatively stable because net imports have accounted for only up to 13% of total nitrogen consumption in the U.S. since 2020. That means domestic production is still fairly robust and is meeting U.S. demand fairly well. Natural gas prices have also been stable over the last couple of weeks, and that is going to be your number one driver for large movements, aside from production issues and other that. But if you wanted to track one thing to get an idea of what nitrogen is going to do, typically it would be natural gas. In the phosphate market, for your phosphorus guys, NOLA MAP was at $630-650 this week. It's up $9 a short term from last week. DAP was at $12.50 at $632.50 a short term, which is so crazy to see MAP and DAP price 1-to-1 right now. It is really bizarre to me. You hardly ever see it. With the new tariffs that are going to be ongoing, it's going to provide a lot of pressure on the MAP and DAP markets. Right now, the majority of the phosphate is coming out of Florida. This whole thing began in the Biden administration, who began to tariff Morocco and some of the other phosphorus producers. And obviously now with everything that's going on, we're not seeing any relief in that regard. So there's really one monopolized source of phosphate in the United States right now, and that's kind of what you have to deal with. But maybe you're considering switching over to natural phosphorus sources. Again, if you're going to do that, you have to remember that there's going to be a time delay before those materials are immediately available. And so you may want to keep that in the back of your mind. Also, with the pressure on MAP and DAP, you may want to go ahead and get out in front of being able to source those. So like your rock phosphates or maybe even some of your manures to be able to take advantage of for if you need phosphorus in your program. Or on the alternative, if you don't need phosphorus and potassium potassium, it's a great time not to buy it, because at 10% phosphorus in your bag, you may be spending anywhere $4, $5, $6 additional per bag of fertilizer that you're going out with. You add potash to it, you may be spending $6, $7, $8, $9 a bag additional just to include some phosphorus and some potassium in your fertilizer bag. If you don't need it, no reason to apply it. Why is potash relatively vulnerable right now? Well, because where does the majority of it come from? It comes from Canada. Sulfate of potash is going to come from primarily the United States. However, sulfate of potash is a commodity plus premium product, so it tends to follow the price of potassium chloride plus a premium. And so if potassium chloride is on its way up, you can pretty much guarantee that sulfate of potash is going to be exceptionally more expensive than potassium chloride, because it's a commodity plus premium product, right? Again, due to the ongoing tensions between the United States and Canada, we're going to continue to see a lot of volatility in the potash market. Normally, we would find reprieve from volatility in the potash market based on imports from other countries like Russia, Belarus, Morocco. However, obviously, Russia has invaded Ukraine. There's an ongoing conflict there. Belarus is kind of taking sides with Russia in that regard. And so the United States has curtailed the amount of potassium that is being imported from those countries. Morocco just always tends to get the bad end of the stick when it comes to all this. So I don't know why that happens, but boy, it started with the Biden administration and it just rolled right on over into this administration, obviously. Odd thing is that you can still import Russian nitrogen for whatever reason. I have no idea why that is, but I don't make the decisions. I'm just here to tell you what's actually going on. Again, there's a signal in the marketplace right now as the European Commission has gone after caffeine, that there's a lot of scrutiny on active ingredients globally right now. Again, you think about caffeine is going to stimulate, probably something in the, what would you say, is going to be stimulatory. How about that? Metabolically stimulatory. And so if you apply neurotoxin of sorts, you're going to get the movement throughout. You're going to accelerate the death of the pest that you're targeting with it. However, kind of on the flip side, that you kind of have some softening from the U.S. standpoint. Again, the rush to go ahead and pass the use of potassium chloride for these invasive mussels. Keep that in the back of your head, though, is that as we've greenlit the use of potassium chloride there, that's additional demand placed on the potash market. When you've got a supply-demand issue like we have right here and ongoing tensions like we have right now, you can see where that could cause some funny business in the pricing of potash, because now we have a big need and demand for it here in this particular issue with the invasive mussels. However, we do see some, kind of softening in that space with the EPA has sunset temporary disinfected supply chain flexibilities that were implemented during the COVID thing, and shows that the agency sees improvement in chemical availability. So we're good there. A couple things to keep an eye on are going to be pesticide prices. So active ingredients, manufacturer active ingredients, technical active ingredients. A lot of these are coming from overseas. The majority of them are going to come from China. Maybe you find reprieve getting an active ingredient from Syngenta that's coming out of India. However, kind of two things to keep in your mind there. Number one is that if it's coming out of India, more than likely it's going to be an agency price product. So it's not going to be one of your typical generics that you're used to buying. It's going to be expensive. Here's the other thing is that if it's coming out of India, it's going to face its own set of tariffs, and also Syngenta is owned by ChemChina. Who knows how that's going to shake out? So just something to keep in the back of your mind. Prodiamine is up roughly 60% over the last hot minute here, and I would not expect to see any softening there. In fact, across any of your pesticides, I would not expect to see any softening. It's because the overwhelming majority of them are going to be imported. Again, it kind of sums up there with some of the industry updates that we have going on. Again, I think what's most important is taking a look at this news right now. If you use something like Prodiamine, if you use something like Indaziflam, if you use something, probably like a dithiapyr, it would make sense to go ahead and proactively get what you need, because once the U.S. Supplies have been exhausted and the next round of imports have to take place, that's when that price increase is going to come around in an exceptional way. So getting out in front of that is probably going to be a good thing. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I hope you like this format. A couple of things is that we hope to, as I have been writing software day in and day out. Me and a great friend of mine, actually a friend of mine, is doing a hell of a lot more of it than I am, but I'm also helping in that regard. And our hope is to be able to compile a lot of this and turn it into something that's actionable for you, and have something that you can run alongside your business that's going to help you ultimately save a lot more money and have the operational insights to be able to make some of those decisions that will help you out in the long run. Also, if you want to show some love, check it out. Link below, knoxpopcon.love. My wife started a 501c3 nonprofit organization, corporation, to help the kids. And the reason why is that one of the things that she noticed in the post-COVID world is that there's not a lot of activities for kids to have face-to-face interaction. And she said, you know what, I'm going to change that. And I'm going to do it with something that I understand. And of course, her being from Japan, and she also teaches K-pop dance. She's like, why not just fuse Asian pop culture and turn it into an event for kids to get out, meet face-to-face, have face-to-face interactions, and enjoy being kids again, playing outside with each other, face-to-face. It's a good thing. If you want to support that, there's t-shirts in the links down below. Check it out, knoxpopcon.love. That's going to get it for me. I'll be checking in with you soon. Y'all have a good one. Bye!